For Juve today after his red card last time, and Alvaro Morata has a thigh injury, so two changes for the champions with Danilo and Dybala restored.
Pirlo will line his troops up 4-4-2 and wants his side to be more imposing and fluid, so expect to see both Danilo and Alexandro pushing forward whenever possible, and at the same time De Ligt and Bonucci need to be aware of Udinese's threat on the counter-attack.
And talking of centre-backs, Rodrigo Bacao is banned for Udinese after collecting 5 cautions this season. So Di Maio replaces him, while Wallace comes in for Arslan in midfield. So the front two once again, Lasagna and Pusetto.
Well, Luca Gotti's men had a good December, but goals are still hard to come by. Lasagna and Pusetto only have 4 between them, so a lot will fall on the shoulders of Pereira and, of course, their main man, De Paul, to try and keep Udinese comfortably mid-table.
Well, this game rounds off a full programme of fixtures today as Serie A welcomes in 2021. Among the standout results today, 10-man Milan winning 2-0 at Benevento. Kessie with a penalty, Leao with the second. Benevento actually missed a penalty, Tonali sent off, and that has consequences against Juventus on Wednesday. Inter hammered Crotone 6-2. A hat-trick there from Lautaro Martinez. Atalanta 5 past Sassuolo, who started the year in 4th. Well, we're closing in on a century of Serie A meetings between these two clubs, and the majority have gone the way of Juventus, but not their last encounter, which saw Udinese end a near 5-year wait for a victory against the old lady. Rabiot, suddenly good movement here from the champions. Headed away as far as De Ligt, and then Zegelaar and Sema. Great ball in! Oh, and a terrific equaliser from Nestorovski! Doing their best to put this Juventus party on hold. The tremendous initial defensive clearance has led to this chance for Fofana. Could he seal it? Oh, my goodness! Fofana in the 92nd minute. It's a result that delayed Juve's title celebrations last season. They can ill afford to drop yet more points. 13 points off the lead, albeit with games in hand. Inter went top temporarily today, but those two now with that notable gap to third. Remember Juve having to replay the postponed game with Napoli. And at the other end, what a tonic for Torino, their second win of the season, lifting themselves off the bottom to kick-start the new year. But for Crotone, a very different feeling. Two clubs linked by unwanted frustrations with Fiorentina. The Viola shamed and embarrassed the champions in their last game of last year. And they're also the club that knocked out Udinese from this season's Coppa Italia. Juve's backup goalkeepers. 2020 proving to be another year of triumph and transition for Juventus, while one of survival for the league's second oldest club. Udinese finishing comfortably clear of trouble in the end, winning 3 of the last 4 games of the season, albeit lower half of the table for the entire campaign. Tuesday before Christmas was certainly a body blow for Juve. It's a powerful looking bench they have today. They've had nearly 2 weeks to dwell on it, to regroup, to recover. And now I guess, Tony, it's about the mentality to begin again.
It is, and one thing that Juventus have shown throughout the years is a very strong mentality. No matter what comes their way, they seem to be able to ride it and push on. But of course, Pirlo, this is his first job. Many questions are still unanswered in his mind, so I think that result certainly will be a difficult one for him to stomach. But he had a good chat, didn't he, with the players, sat them all down, and they're very clear on what they now expect going forward. So I'm expecting a really good performance today.
And at what point would you say it's too much?
Not yet. I mean, there's games in hand still and plenty of matches still to come. And of course, they play Milan this midweek, so they have a great chance to get themselves right back in it. But you have to say today is a must-win at this stage of the season.
Well, Buffon, Chiellini amongst those watching from up on high. For Udinese, Well, a bad start, then something of a consolidation, and seemingly always fighting an uphill battle, Tony.
They do. Udinese, I think, with the resources they got, do very, very well. But, of course, they are renowned for selling their best players here and there to bring the money and, of course, balance the books. But can they keep hold of the likes of DePaul? That will be important. But Pereira's come in, looks a very good player indeed. But it's goals up top where they really need to start firing. And always seems a struggle for them, but they just about do enough.
Yeah, got a glimpse there of Rolando Mandragora, who's actually on loan from Juve. Here Piero Giacomelli leading out the officials ahead of this one. 2 3-0 reverses in one day. So hard for Juventus to stomach just before Christmas, leaving them 10 points off leaders Milan, albeit with a game in hand before this weekend's fixtures. When they last played Udinese here in their blue and yellow kit, they were 1 win away from their 9th successive title. And of course, Udinese had plenty to play for themselves. At the time, Luca Gotti's team 4 points from danger with 4 to play. Dramatically, enthusiastically clinching all 3 points with that 92nd minute winner from Seko Fofana. Well, Cristiano Ronaldo, this pivotal player in Juve's team, and today partnered by Paulo Dybala in the absence of Alvaro Morata. Andrea Pirlo and Luca Gotti. Well, Juventus are missing Juan Cuadrado today, suspended after his straight red card against Fiorentina. And Alvaro Morata now has a thigh injury, so Danilo and Dybala come in. Cristiano Ronaldo certainly has an eye on Ali Daei's international goal-scoring record this year, let alone a 6th personal Champions League. And DePaul, the respective captains. Piero Giacomelli, a man in the middle, the 43-year-old's first time in charge of either of these teams this season. Well, for Udinese, Rodrigo Becao is banned for reaching 5 yellow cards. Sebastian De Meyer replaces him, while Wallace comes in for Arslan. Injuries including Neutink, Aouyan and Okaka. Notably, when Ignacio Pusetto has scored this season, Udinese have won every time. Well, Luca Gotti, who's got a contract to the end of the season, he replaced Igor Tudor, who's these days the assistant here in Turin. Big 5 months ahead for Andrea Pirlo as the coach of Juventus. Rarely on time. Running repairs for Juan Musso here ahead of kick-off. How big a gap can Juventus afford to have. A new year then that offers the reigning champions the potential to reignite and kickstart their campaign. Juventus targets including 10 successive titles and of course the conquest of a continent. But beginning 2021 against Serie A's second oldest club, who held up the old ladies' 9th straight title celebrations back in July. Udinese here wearing their special away kit today that they dedicated to their fans around the world, blue and yellow being the official colours of the Friuli flag. Danilo starting on the right of Juve's defence today, Chiesa just ahead of him. And the big question, how will they recover after that double setback just prior to Christmas?
Certainly was a shock, wasn't it? Fiorentina came here in really poor form. No one expected them to get anything from the game, but they got 3 goals, took all 3 points as well, and left Juve with a bit of a headache.
Ronaldo looking for the little flick back towards Aaron Ramsey, who ostensibly at least is starting wider on the left today.
Yes, 4-4-2. Ramsey will drift in from that side and of course come inside and support the 2 strikers. What we do know, Danilo and certainly Alexandro, every opportunity will try and get forward, so it'll be an attacking lineup, even though it is 4-4-2.
Stringer Larsen chasing down that pass from Di Maio. Support here with Pussetto and Lasagna, who are the front 2 today. They're playing with their 3 centre-back system, as they just about always do. Pereira's touch off, the whistle's gone. Immediately Juve with a high pushing, pressing approach to the early stages. Bonucci spinning away from Kevin Lasagna. You were saying earlier, Tony, about the lack of riches in the goal-scoring department for Udinese. They're a bit short of centre-backs as well at the moment. They've had to change around today with no Rodrigo Bicao, suspended for 5 yellows.
Yes, it's a struggle, and of course with the squad depth that Udinese have got, if they do lose an important player, they're going to feel it. So it is difficult. Only 4 goals between the 2 strikers as well. I just look at Lasagna though, he seems to have so much pace, and that could cause Juve problems if they overcommit and just aren't wary of what he can do. Of course, let's not forget, last game out, Vlahovic did the same and punished Juventus very early on.
Yeah, at this point, it was Vlahovic who'd actually given Fiorentina the lead. Cristiano Ronaldo driving at Larsen, opening up the angle for the shot. And the first effort from the big man of 2021, just wide of goal.
Even the defenders know exactly what he's trying to do, but stopping it is another thing. Still manages to wriggle and find half a yard to get his shot away.
Juve themselves pointing out that Cristiano Ronaldo scored 41 goals in the calendar year of 2020 in all competitions. Got to include a couple of UEFA Nations League goals there for Portugal as well. That's as many as the entire Udinese team scored. When you look across all competitions, it's quite some fact.
And it's not just this year, is it? That's the thing with Cristiano Ronaldo. How many years has been banging in the goals at that sort of level? It is quite phenomenal.
Well, every year brings a new record seemingly, but I think you could say probably every month and almost every game these days. And I said about the potential for a 6th personal Champions League, but you think about the international goal scoring as well. When you include all of that, Annie Day's record has stood for a while now. There are others in the frame as well who are still playing, but Cristiano Ronaldo certainly has the ability, the potential, and importantly the matches coming up to fulfill that dream as well. That's a heavy contact on Dybala from Di Maio.
That was an awful challenge, it really was. Dybala, good first touch, and then just knocks it off, but how late was Di Maio? Ball was a good yard away. And that looks a sore one, especially if he gets it in his thigh. Hopefully it's just an impact injury and he's okay, but poor challenge from Di Maio.
Yeah, pretty brutal, pretty industrial challenge from Sebastian Di Maio. Doesn't seem to be even bringing a yellow card, perhaps surprisingly.
Very surprised, because I'm sure defenders like me used to say, that's my first one, am I allowed it? But normally you're not, and Di Maio gets away with it.
You used to try it on something chronic, didn't you?
Absolutely.
Looking for McKennie in the middle, who's shown a tremendous hunger and appetite to get himself in the mix in the attacking areas. Dybala here with a natural wish to just tuck inside, and Chiesa's ball in, finds Aaron Ramsey with a hands on head moment.
How did he find himself in so much space? He is onside as well. He's all alone in the 6-yard box, just needs to get the slightest of touches. Instead he gets too much on it. Couldn't steer it home.
Almost in disbelief he had that much time, I think. I too couldn't believe he was there unmarked. Well, here we go, there is a yellow card. Now, was that worse?
Well, you can see from Chiesa's face, he can't believe it. Di Maio's was a shocking challenge. He gets nothing, and this one, Chiesa does grab his arm. Mind you, I think Lasagna's got a piece of his shirt as well. 6 of one, and
it's almost like he's been
half a
pulled
dozen the
along
other.
by Chiesa.
Absolutely, that's never been a foul, let alone a yellow card, so Chiesa's the unfortunate one.
Hanging on to your opponent, yellow card, brutal tackle, nothing. Go figure. Zegler here, around Danilo. Pereira. Off Bonucci for the corner.
I look at this Udinese side and I see Pereira and De Paul in midfield. Those two really have to try and get forward and get out of that midfield 5. Every opportunity to support their strikers. Pereira doing that well so far.
Yeah, they certainly use Wallace or Arslan on other occasions as the anchor. Di Maio using his colleague as a screen. And De Paul going for the short one instead to Pereira. Back to Rodrigo De Paul. A nice idea to get it round the back post, but no problem for Szczesny, that header from Pusetto.
Just about did enough. Alexandro just pushes him out the way, can't get the direction that he would have liked, Pusetto, but decent effort.
Talking about the trials and tribulations each of these two have had with Fiorentina. That was Udinese's last defeat back on the 25th of October on their travels. Now Ramsey. Tracked by Di Maio. That's skillfully done. Chiesa darted forward and the ball was drifted beyond him, and McKennie retrieves it.
He gambled, Chiesa. He gambled wrongly because the ball went exactly where he was.
Dybala. Dybala always strikes me as such a well-balanced player. He's got this lovely low centre of gravity and he's very graceful on the move. Little drop of the shoulder, he can send you completely the wrong way. Here he is again now.
I think Dybala, he's not blessed with lightning speed over 30-40 yards, but what he is blessed with, acceleration over 3 and 4 and great technique. And that's what certainly we've seen a lot of him so far.
Lasagna pursues. De Paul is there! And a shock lead for Udinese in the 10th minute. Maybe lightning can strike twice.
Well, I said the midfielders had to get up in support. De Paul does exactly that, but Juventus, just from one end, they're on the attack, and they just get undone. Everything here looks okay, but De Paul just knocks it through, continues his run. Bonucci doesn't close him down, and eventually it ends up at De Paul's feet, and that's a really good goal as well. In his stride, tucks it away. Szczesny has tried to guess which way it's going. He guessed wrong. De Paul gives Udinese a shock lead.
At the start of it, at the finish of it. Rodrigo De Paul, the Udinese captain, pointing to the heavens with his club's first goal of 2021.
This is always a worry when VAR appears. They're looking at handball from De Paul. That would be very harsh, I have to say, but they're going to take a closer look. And as the ball comes down, does he use that left arm? There is a bit of a hand in there.
Oh, VAR review. Use of the hand. That's a let-off for Juventus. Massive decision. Did he know anything about it? Did he control it? To be fair to him, no complaints.
Bentancur is chasing him. You see the hand is used, but so much play goes on afterwards. It's very frustrating. De Paul, clearly by his reaction, knew something was up, but Juventus survive.
I should add that it doesn't matter if it's accidental in the build-up from an attacking player like that, as long as it's immediately before the goal. That might be the area that, again, it's a bit of a blur. It's a bit of a grey area, isn't it?
It certainly is, and if you look to see how long the play went after that, of course the pass was made, and then he got the return pass, so there's plenty of football in between, but it's given. And we're back to 0-0, and Juventus, they don't start well, do they? The last couple of games at home, they really have struggled.
The new year starting with controversy. Never seemingly far away. Big setback for Luca Gotti. And to be fair to Udinese, they've taken it on the chin here.
Just got to put that to the back of their minds now and move on. Their form's strange, isn't it? Their home form is really poor. They only scored 5 goals all season at home, 9 away, so I think the way they're lined up with 3 at the back, and of course on the counter-attack they do have pace. It's a way where they may get more of their points this season, but so far you've already seen a couple of aspects of their play that they can be very dangerous.
Well, Ramsey sliding in, won the ball and concedes the throw. So Rodrigo De Paul on 3 goals still for this Serie A season. Here comes McKennie. Caressed and cushioned by Ramsey. Ronaldo held up by Wallace. Good tackle. Brazilian they brought to the club from Hanover just under 18 months ago. Lasagna there, who's only got the 1 goal so far. That was at Cagliari. 10 he scored last season, so he's well short right now. Bentancur. Typical Juve here with Good sustained possession, moving it swiftly. Di Maio winning the header, and De Paul again looking for the outlet. Pussetto and Lasagna, who've been willing early runners.
A couple of times now, De Paul's always looking to get the ball into the channel. He knows the speed of his strikers up top will cause Juventus problems, but at the moment not quite on the same wavelength.
Cristiano Ronaldo drifting more to the right here for Juve, with Chiesa outside him. Bentancur. And when they build here, Ramsey inevitably pops up centrally along with McKennie. No doubting Morata's a big miss. He's had a very strong campaign, largely so far. Didn't look terribly engaged and involved last time out. Was that fair?
I think you're right. It was a strange performance, because before the game I was talking about how this season I thought Morata has done remarkably well, and the understanding that he had with Ronaldo was just getting better and better, but he looked a little out of sorts. Maybe he had a niggle then, but he's missing. Hopefully he'll be back in the not too distant future.
Ronaldo hoisting it on, and Ramsey continues his run. Musso's quick release. Lasagna closing this one down. Szczesny in a hurry. Alexandro. Ronaldo, those twinkle-toed feet, and then the deflected shot comfortably gathered by Musso, but just a sign of how Cristiano Ronaldo drifts from one side to the other, something we've seen so many times now.
Especially on that left-hand side, cuts in onto his right, but De Paul actually did really well just to shepherd him into a bunch of players, and of course it was Wallace yet again with that challenge. I think tonight Wallace is going to have an important role to play, just sitting in front of his three centre-halves and just trying to stop either Dybala or Ronaldo when he comes into that area.
Yeah, the three central midfielders playing quite narrow at times here. Closing down the supply line. Here's De Ligt. Drifted it for Chiesa, beautifully flighted, long diagonal.
It's exactly what they need to do as well. Just move Udinese left and right, and try these diagonals. Chiesa gets into a good position. Ziegler just does enough.
Here's Bentancur, curled in beautifully by Dybala. Waiting to pull the trigger. Cristiano Ronaldo taking Stria Larsen with him. And Ramsey challenging Musso, which Udinese's defenders weren't so keen on.
The referee's given a free kick against Ramsey. The challenge on Musso, I didn't see too much in that whatsoever. The leg, I suppose, was up, but already you can see Juventus trying to be on the front foot. The pattern of the match is pretty much set in that Juve will have more possession. Udinese will try and keep it tight, numbers in depth, and on the counter, of course, they'll try and do it very quickly.
Careless from Musso. Still feeling the effects of that Ramsey challenge, maybe. From a very academic family. Someone who actually studied journalism before he became a goalkeeper. Ramsey. I suppose today the headlines are bound to be black and white one way or the other.
I see what you did there.
McKennie and Alexandro. Not just thrown together, you know.
Well, we saw this game, didn't we, towards the end of last season, with Udinese, of course, just nicking that win when Juventus were trying to fall over the line, but this time it's a very different intent, isn't it? Juventus have to get all 3 points. That gap to the top of Serie A is looking bigger.
Lovely give and go. Ramsey receives. Has support with Alexandro behind. Oh, 3 to aim at. Just too deep.
They all ran into the same position. 3 of them were thrown a blanket over all 3 instead of trying to get one pulled out. Cross wasn't the best, but at least give yourself more options than that.
No, we were talking about the Di Maio challenge earlier on Dybala very early in the match. It's worth just mentioning that, of course, VAR won't be reviewing what the referee may or may not consider as a yellow card offence. Zegalar's foot up this time. Now here's a moment.
It is, because it's in the ideal position for Dybala or Ronaldo to have a go at goal. Always difficult those are, because both players are putting their feet up. Studs generally do go up as well. Zegalar went a few inches higher, which means he was penalised.
Testing moments for Juan Musso and Udinese, who 10-11 minutes ago thought that they'd taken the initiative, the advantage in this match. Dybala, Ronaldo, poised and primed. Bonucci and McKennie maybe giving a hint as to where they might want to place this, and it's Dybala. And the wall taking all the sting out of it.
Well, they've just tried to move the ball, haven't they, Dybala? Just to try and get it past that initial piece of the wall. Deflection, could have gone anywhere. It was actually a heavy touch, wasn't it? Musso was delighted.
Interesting, you think, Cristiano Ronaldo, the talent he has, the pecking order for that free kick. It certainly was an angle that suited the left foot of Dybala, maybe a little more. Anyway, Stringer Larsen here for Udinese. Hoisted away by McKennie. Wallace lets it bounce, and maybe he'll regret that. Bentancur. The one thing without Morata is you don't have that focal point in the Juve attack in quite the same way. Dybala here drifting, linking with Chiesa, who slips the shackles of Samir. Ramsey's there if Alexandro wants him. All a bit of a muddle.
Well, De Ligt, a little bit too forceful with that challenge on Pussetto from behind. Sometime the young man just needs to give his opponent a yard and get the second ball. Good play, wasn't it, from Chiesa? Just nips past his defender.
Really was a wonderful opening goal in Serie A. He scored for Juve against Atalanta, the draw. The reply wasn't bad either, as I recall. Some of the goals this season have been quite phenomenal. And Serie A continuing to go from strength to strength. Zegalar tried to slip it forward with Pereira, who, like De Paul, very naturally does want to push up and thrust through the middle.
Which is why I think midfield 5 for Udinese suits them well. They've played it a lot, haven't they? But with Pereira and De Paul, they've got 2 players very much attack-minded with talent.
Through Larson caught out there, and it's maybe in the wide areas where they're going to be outnumbered naturally if Juve stick to more of the 4-4-2 shape. 2 against 1 in the widest of areas. Of course, De Paul, Pereira, they will also move out as needs be. Here's Danilo. Never easy for players for a club to have, well, the best part of a couple of weeks to dwell on a bad result. It's a bit like when you go into an international break. You never want to go in off a bad game that allows players to think about it for an awful lot longer. Here's Pereira. Just popping it into the mix with Lasagna there.
Yes, playing for your country was always difficult because when you do have a bad result, you have to wait quite a long time to play again, whereas normally in the league, they come thick and fast. But for Juve, 2 weeks, that's a long time to stew with Christmas and New Year. Lots of soul-searching, but maybe that's just what they need. Maybe it's the wake-up call to get them all going that much better in 2021.
And of course, people looking at the league table see this whopping great gap appearing, but again, you've got to remember that the games in hand they have, yes, they've had too many draws, no question about that, but just the 1 defeat so far, and they are about to face Milan in midweek.
And history, of course, has told us the past 9 years that they really can go on great runs, can't they?
Well, write them off at your peril, I guess. Been there, seen it, done it, bought the t-shirt. The ball down the line here. Aaron Ramsey. Interesting that McKennie and Bentancur keeping Arthur out the team. Chiesa, McKennie, Danilo. Dybala. Lovely use of Alexandro down the left. Ronaldo. Chiesa makes his starting near post run as Juve win themselves a corner.
I suppose that's the difference as well when you've got Dybala instead of Morata in the team. Dybala does like to come very, very deep. He can switch the play really quickly. Then you need runners to get past him. There we had Ramsey and another 3 or 4 players in the box when the cross was about to come in.
Nearly half an hour played. Clever routine here from Juve beyond De Ligt. Bonucci, the other centre-back, Cristiano Ronaldo. Bonucci. And Pussetto it was, who was tight to him.
And both players there in unfamiliar territory. Pussetto at left back trying to defend, and Bonucci trying to take him on as a right winger. That didn't work.
We were talking earlier about some of the injuries that Udinese especially have right now, but I do understand that Neutink, Okaka could possibly even be back by the end of January after calf, leg injuries. Deulofeu is out with a foot problem. Aouyan, who has had a few games for them this season, but one of the curiosities about the way that the squad is structured, you have a list of 25. Yayalo on the list in place of Aouyan for a while, but now that Yayalo is injured, my understanding is they're going to put Aouyan back on the list of 25 from tomorrow, so he comes back into the reckoning for midweek.
And this period as well is a really important period with so many games. Of course, with that little mini break with the midweek round as well. So they come thick and fast. Good time to hit some decent form.
Yeah, the winter break this year, I know, just a few days, frankly. 25th, 26th, 27th of December, and that's about it. Not the luxuries of years gone by. In 2021, with the summer climax of UEFA Euro 2020, and here it's Cristiano Ronaldo after half an hour for Juventus, who blasts in their first goal of the new campaign, of the new year. It had to be him.
New year, same old Ronaldo. It's a fantastic goal. Actually, Ramsey does really well to Paul. He dallies on the ball. Ramsey wins it back, and after that, yet again, you know he's going to come inside, but knowing is one thing, stopping another. Just the pace and power, accuracy. Keeper Musso, absolutely no chance. He's got such a desire to score goals, Ronaldo, along with technique. That allows you to break record after record.
Cristiano Ronaldo in that area rarely misses. And here's some good hounding. And Wallace for Udinese. Lasagna on the spin. Had two outside in Pusetto and Pereira.
Had options. Not sure he went for the right one. It was Aaron Ramsey that gets into a right mess. Eventually, when it spins out to Lasagna. Difficult. Didn't get the right connection.
Dybala. Glanced off here towards McKennie. Oh, Samir felt that. Another card coming out.
Well, no doubt, I think it was a genuine attempt to go for the ball from both players, but one certainly came off worse. McKennie has kicked the defender's inside of his leg. That is a sore one. He's tried to make out he's injured himself as well. That little trick didn't work. And we see the ball just getting nicked off the pole, but after that, pace that he just drives into the box. And the finish, sublime.
Well, McKennie mobile once again ahead of the play here, but Juve typically so good at keeping the ball. You have to give Aaron Ramsey credit for the way that he poached it to lead to that Ronaldo goal. In comes Chiesa. Scampering across, but that's a Juve ball. Two big moments in the match so far. One denying Luca Gotti's team the lead in the 10th minute, and then Ramsey pinching the ball from their pockets and finding Cristiano Ronaldo. Now Chiesa's gone down. Zegala looks a bit forlorn.
Zegala again has just dangled a left leg there and has kicked Chiesa above the ankle. Udinese at the moment are just giving the ball away way too cheaply. Juventus yesterday on the front foot with a high press, a lot of energy. Udinese aren't helping themselves either, and now free kick, dangerous area. Have to make sure a second doesn't go in before half time.
The big guns loading Udinese's penalty area here. Ronaldo behind De Ligt. Dybala with the in-swinger. Pussetto trying to get it early and quickly up to Lasagna. Instead, a bit of shirt holding on Ronaldo. Free kick.
Juventus are very aware of the threat that the two strikers of Udinese pose. Anytime there is a quick break, they try and stop it at source.
McKennie, nice give and go with the American here. And Aaron Ramsey, fine save, Musso.
Good interplay, wasn't it? McKennie and Aaron Ramsey. Good triangles, 1-2s and around the Udinese midfield, couldn't quite find the finish.
Now Paulo Dybala. Wasteful then, Juve. Stringer Larsen allowing Cristiano Ronaldo to nip in and take it away. Here's McKennie. Juve committing plenty of bodies forward at the moment, and smothering any chance Udinese have of wriggling free. Alexandro. Used to see a lot of Aaron Ramsey's runs beyond the strikers when he was at Arsenal. And we're seeing more glimpses of that today.
Dybala with the challenge on DePaul. Does get a piece of the ball. And referee Giacomelli thinks he got a piece of the man as well. Here's the Ramsey effort. Lower made it being better. Difficult for Musso, but at that height, keeper makes a decent save.
Bentancur sliding in on Zegala. Sammy. Pereira unceremoniously bundled off it by McKennie.
There's no doubt that Juventus in this first half have come out firing, haven't they? Want to prove a point after that 3-0 loss at the end of last season. Come out with plenty of energy, and they have done.
Here's Wallace. Well, Bonifazi was trying to be the link for them there. And they signed from Spal just a few months ago. Cristiano Ronaldo's 13th goal of this Serie A campaign. 33 he scored during 2020. Four of the previous 12 prior to today this season were from the penalty spot, but 3/4 plus now in open play. Szczesny put under a bit of pressure there and working working hard for the cause. That really is what you call defending from the front, when the players putting pressure on the defenders like that. We've seen it from Juve already. And Udinese having a crack themselves. 1-0 to the champions. 5 minutes to half-time. Musso struck it perfectly, and he needed to. Pereira. Juve's turn to push and press. Bonifazzi being rushed into the escape route. And to Udinese's great credit, they did wonderfully well for a sustained period there.
Certainly passed their way out from the back rather well, but didn't get very far, did they? Not quite into the middle third, but again, good closing down. Handball from Alexandro, just leaving his arm there.
'21, starting with a Cristiano Ronaldo goal for the champions.
Dacci profondità, vieni!
Up towards Bussetto. Lasagna will chase in behind De Ligt if he can. And just the hustle, the graft, paying dividends here for Udinese. Certainly making the champions work for this.
They are, and a lot of good effort from both sides as well. Juventus are working hard, but Udinese, when they can, are, but just when they have the ball, giving away cheaply. They can't get 5, 6, 7 passes strung together, because we're not really seeing the players like De Paul or Pereira on the ball consistently. So they can then cause Juventus a few more problems. It really is just bouncing back at them.
Here's Wallace. Now Bonifazzi. Well, Bussetto waiting. And went down. And, what seemed to be a fair challenge. Juve pointing out there's a man down inside the 6-yard box. Bonifazzi as play continues. And Udinese telling their colleagues to get the ball out of play so that he can receive some treatment.
Well, it's Bussetto. I thought Bonucci with a fantastic clearance. And just the way that Bussetto then continues his run, gets caught up. When he plants his left leg, does his knee just slightly buckle? Oh, you could see it there. His right leg just bent slightly the wrong way. That is not pleasant to see, but Bonucci, positioning was superb. Had to make sure he got there first and just does enough.
That really was a masterclass clearance.
To be able to control where it's going as well.
Well, all being well, Bussetto is going to be okay here, but yeah, there certainly looked to be a nasty twist of the knee that would be a huge concern. But Luca Gotti here, who took over from Igor Tudor just over a year or so ago. 53-year-old, he's got a contract to the end of the season. Good to see him running back on that knee once again. The ball sportingly returned here, as Pusetto wants to return to the fray. Back to full strength. 2 added minutes at the end of this first half. Zegala evading the initial challenge from Danilo. Lovely change of direction here. Striga Larsen. Oh, another 50-50 ball that potentially had an injury written all over it. Chiesa on the spin.
But Juventus so quick into the challenge, aren't they? Any time it's slightly loose from Udinese, they are on them in a flash.
Bonucci. Bonifazi was underneath it. Oh, the way they're being hounded and pursued here. They best keep their wits about them. That wasn't such a bad idea. Lasagna, who's gone after his man there, but Danilo concedes possession.
That's their best option, isn't it, of an out ball. Just punted upfield for their 2 strikers.
The referee perfectly placed to see that. Pereira down. That's nothing doing from the referee. And here, Cristiano Ronaldo deprived of the ball by a well-timed interception from Samir. What a first half that really hinged on 2 main moments. Cristiano Ronaldo profiting after a great pickpocket from Aaron Ramsey. Udinese, for their part, in the 10th minute, thought that they had the advantage, only for the VAR to intervene and rule it out. Half-time then, Juventus 1, Udinese 0.
And score, but DePaul, Pereira, certainly Lasagna and Pusetto, those 4 you have to think are their main men, but such a slight little touch as well. The arm, Bentancur in the side, that couldn't help. But when they did play on, excellent finish. Good ball from Lasagna, a really good finish, but not what Luca Gossi wanted from the referee.
Seeing Giorgio Chiellini out there. We haven't seen him in Serie A since, near the end of September. Played a couple of games against Sampdoria and Roma, a couple of Champions League games as well, I recall, but it's a long time since he was in league action. Rodrigo De Paul just talking to Piero Giacomelli there about that decision, just to establish exactly what's going on. Didn't seem to be an awful lot of dialogue there. The whole area of handball has become very confusing to many people. You can study the rule, you can hear what officials have to say about the rules, but ultimately it can still leave the fans confused. Change coming up here, Forestieri coming on for the second half in place of Ignacio Pusetto, which you might have suspected after that injury sustained towards the end of the first half. So Juventus get us underway for the second half, kicking from right to left. Udinese in their blue and yellow special away kit today. And the visitors making that change, with Pusetto sustaining an injury towards the end of the first half, replaced here by Fernando Forestieri. Here's Chiesa.
Fuori aria, bravo. Calma.
Forestieri, who they brought in from Sheffield Wednesday in September. He scored on his last Serie A outing at the end of November against Lazio. Also with one telling save from Ramsey late on in that first half. Nice work from Di Maio initially. Feeding it on here for Rodrigo de Paul. Forestieri on the outside of him. And whipped in, but beyond rushing Lasagna and indeed Pereira just in front of him.
It's a really good ball whipped into a dangerous area, but the runs unfortunately were more so to the near post, and when it does come into that dangerous area, no one is at the back post to tuck it away.
So a couple of changes for Juve today, with Danilo in at right back, with Cuadrado suspended for his red card against Fiorentina. Dybala replacing Alvaro Morata, who's got the thigh muscle problem. Here is Dybala. Ronaldo. Dybala. Oh, nearly found its way through to Ronaldo. Alexandro to Bentancur. And Chiesa. Well positioned to get his shot away.
Good strike. Good moving the ball as well from Bentancur. That first pass was excellent, but the second just couldn't find the angle left or right. Past Musso, he's frustrated.
Well, at the moment, Luka Gonti's team having to do an awful lot of defending. Had the quick release a couple of times with playing the two central strikers, which this system allows them to do. We've talked earlier about De Paul and Pereira, their natural ambitions to support the strikers. Here, De Ligt being pursued by Lasagna. Forestieri hoping to draw a mistake from Bonucci. There was one outstanding moment in that first half, one clearance he made that led to Passetto's injury. Not his fault, I hasten to add, but it was brilliant. Chiesa running in behind here, and he's managed to slot it for number 2 early in the second half. Well, the first goal he scored in Serie A for Juve against Atalanta was an absolute bullet. This one was fashioned through clever running and a deft touch to take it away from Musso.
Well, he had an opportunity earlier, but what about this ball from Ronaldo as well, outside of the boot? The speed of Chiesa gets him in behind the defence, and then his ability on the ball does the rest. Great vision. First touch is excellent, takes it away from defender and keeper, hard and low into that far corner. Really was a good finish. He had a sighter just minutes earlier, and this time with his left foot, made no mistake.
One Alvaro Morata himself would have been proud of. Thumbs up from the coach. Juve starting 2021 with an abundance of passion and fighting spirit. And their big money recruits, although the deal is still officially only a loan deal, but settling into life very well with the old lady. Oh, did the whole of the ball cross the line?
Hard to see, isn't it? We'll let the referee's assistant flag dictate that one.
They've got a better view than us on that one. Dybala protesting he was held. Juve continue pushing on with Ramsey. If he can get the final touch, has another bite of it here and squeezes in a third. Pumped up, raring to go for 2021.
Well, Andrea Pirlo will be delighted because his team are on the front foot. 1 up, 2 up, still going for more goals. Dybala shows great strength. Di Maio is getting nowhere near Chiesa. And when the ball comes to Ramsey, so many players around him. Has one effort. How has he still got time and space and composure to get up and slot it away in between Bonifaci's legs into the back of the net? It's a really good finish from Aaron Ramsey. We talked, didn't we, in the first half about him running deep from midfield. We saw it plenty of times at Arsenal where he scored. Well, add another goal for Juventus to that list.
A goal that really epitomised the persistence and determination, the deflection of Bonifaci. And Aaron Ramsey, his first Serie A goal for 10 months since March against Inter. First of this season. Suddenly life looks a whole lot better. Well, having said that, the VAR is going to intervene again here. Is there a use of an arm there?
You're looking at another handball. It's the slide. Hard to tell from that angle. Does look like he tries to get his arm out the way. Chest to arm.
Remember, it doesn't matter, Tony, does it, if it's accidental in these circumstances?
I mean, he's done well, hasn't he, just to get up again and stick it in the back of the net.
Well, just like De Paul before him, Aaron Ramsey suffers a similar fate. Handball given. It's a tough one, isn't it?
It is. I used to really like VAR. It's just.
And when exactly was that?
I'm not sure, to be honest. In my dreams, I think the idea of VAR for me has always been a good one, but we seem to be talking about it rather a lot, and it's punctuating the game.
But you know what? I'm going to cut across you there, because I don't think that's the VAR's fault. I think that's the law. I think the problem is with the law. On that occasion, they've implemented the law. There's a handball, albeit not deliberate, just before a goal has been scored. I just think the law's wrong.
Well, it certainly is an area that needs to be looked at, because it is so frustrating. At least I suppose anything we can say in this game that it has happened to both sides, but it's no solace, is it?
No, little consolation. I think the argument would be, for me at least, it hasn't actually really influenced the play to the extent that it's changed whether it would have been a goal or not, the use of the arm. But again, we're getting into technicalities here. I don't want to get too deeply entrenched in the mire.
Well, it isn't allowed, and play goes on. 2-0 still. Udinese have half a chance still of somehow turning this around, but I'm not sure how. They haven't been able to retain possession, but maybe here.
Delict is across. Forestieri, I think, was just onside, but that would have been reviewed. How does he get his arm out of the way of that?
It's impossible. Your body can't just fall to the ground. You're bound to put your arm down. Every sympathy with Aaron Ramsey there.
As I say, when it's an attacking player, it doesn't matter if it's accidental. So they have applied the law correctly. I just think the law's wrong. personal view. Stolen here by Alexandro. And Juve determined to get their third with Dybala and Ronaldo moving the ball fluently, but in the end running into the blue-shirted traffic of the Udinese defenders in the shape of Di Maio. Lasagna, Forestieri and Pereira have gone into the middle there.
Got a poor cross. Ziegler has to do a lot better. He had time and space to put in a decent ball.
That's a lovely ball in as well, and off the frame there for Udinese. Recovered here by De Paul. Stringer Larsen getting forward and involved in the attack still as Lasagna chases.
Well, that was some header. Stringer Larsen, this time a ball from Samir, and glides it, just trying to find that top corner. So unlucky, inches away of getting Udinese back in the game. That would have made it interesting, but it gives them hope at least.
McKennie. Dybala there with Ramsey. That was deflected over. That's a corner.
Trying to get his goal. Outside the box. Just goes for the shot. Gets deflected away, but still Juventus foot to the pedal. Here's the ball from Samir. It's an excellent one, isn't it? Dangerous area. Stringer Larsen drifts in from the right-hand side. Gets across. Alexandro just about does everything right. Szczesny absolutely no chance.
Here's Chiesa. Oh, gave that a fair old whack.
There's nothing else in his mind apart from letting fly from a long way out. Bounced up nicely as well. Samir turns away and looks at the referee as well.
Here we go. The handball thing is becoming a bit of a feature today. Dybala's corner. Bentancur very assertively charging through. Half an hour to go. It remains 2-0 after each of these two has had a goal disallowed, but Chiesa off in pursuit of this.
Heck of a ball. Everyone had stopped. Samir just got it out the way, out of harm's way, but Ronaldo knows if he was alive and in there, could have been another.
In comes Bonucci. Goal kick.
Bonucci, I think, has hit him in the nose. I don't think he's got his forehead to it. Just see afterwards, clutching his nose, because that was a heck of a chance. It's any sort of decent connection. It's in the back of the net. Instead, it's hit him halfway down the face.
Well, just to let you know what the rule actually says about Law 12 and handling the ball. The actual wording, it says it's an offence if a player scores in the opponent's goal directly from their hand or arm, even if accidental, including by the goalkeeper. But then the next bit, after the ball has touched their or a teammate's hand or arm, even if accidental, immediately scores in the opponent's goal or creates a goal-scoring opportunity. So they have applied the law correctly here today. Let's make that clear. It just feels wrong. So here's De Paul. Pereira. Zegler on the outside. Any sense from Udinese they feel they can still get themselves back into this?
Still committing bodies forward. This time Danilo just does enough. The cross comes in, he takes all the weight and power off it, but Zegler has to just try and find a better delivery from that left-hand side. He's found himself in some great areas of the pitch, but can't quite find the final ball.
McKennie turning into trouble. Bentancur, Ramsey taking up a great position there and gives him a little bit more license to roam when he comes in like that. Alexandro blocked off by Stringer Larsen.
The ball to him from Ronaldo was a poor one. Just forced him wide. Didn't need to be that hard. Alexandro wanted to run in towards goal, or at least straight. Instead, he had to go out to the left.
Zegler couldn't hold on to it. Dybala. Ramsey. Chiesa's gone up through the middle for the moment. Udinese standing their ground. Delict with a foul, yellow card coming out.
Well, he's pleading his case, but a couple of times Delict has just been a little rash, trying to eagerly get to the ball where there's no need to do it. I don't think he actually touched De Paul either. He didn't. You can see the straight right leg of De Paul is made just trying to win the free kick, and he did.
So Molina coming on here for Di Maio. McKennie also being withdrawn here. Arthur for Juve for 26 minutes plus. McKennie, who was on a yellow card as well, notably. De Paul, the strength, the resilience, the power, but not the direction in the shot.
Went to try and hit it with the top of the laces. Didn't quite get it right, but showed really good determination to spin away and keep off Alexandro. Wasn't quite as good as the finish in the first half.
Curious game, this. 2-0. Feels as if it could have been 3-1. Off goes Stringer Larsen. And, mops up for Musso. Wallace playing a dangerous game, trying to roll his man.
I don't think Udinese are the most comfortable team I've seen in possession. However, their life is being made even more uncomfortable by just the pace that Juve are closing them down at. I see a lot more energy in this performance from the home team.
Yeah, massive difference for Juve from the huge disappointment of the Fiorentina game. And there you see it's just not clicking and gelling for the boys in blue.
It's Ziegler again. Unfortunately, his left foot hasn't had its best night. He has got into some good areas, but this time he went the high route, too high.
One of the plentiful connections with Watford. Pereira being another, of course. Deulofeu on the injured list right now. Here's Alexandro, almost at the midway point of the second half. He didn't even go for it. He held off deliberately there.
He
still gets punished.
Still gets punished, absolutely. Just look at the Udinese side. I mean, can they get back into this game? They're playing in fits and starts, but certainly are trying. Just Juve a little bit too good so far tonight.
Juve need a third to kill it off, perhaps. And Chiesa brushing aside the challenge of Samir. Almost bouncing off him. Now Dybala. Pushing into dangerous areas and then resisting any temptation to do anything other than keep the ball. I don't know about you, Tony, but for me, one of the key things about Andrea Pirlo and the way that he's moulding this Juventus team, there's so much more tactical flexibility about them.
There is fluidity to their play. Ramsey just getting fouled by De Paul. I think Andrea Pirlo, what he wants, of course, is a change of mentality from Juventus and trying to impose their style of play on the opposition. A lot of the time they play in the last, 8-9 seasons, been controlling rather than absolutely dominating.
Ronaldo's deflected effort spins out to Alexandro. Anywhere will do clearance. Danilo. Dybala exchanging with Bentancur. Ramsey made a probing run that they tried to pick out. Here's Pereira. Haven't really been able to get Forestieri into the game. Lasagna's been quiet. Juve with a chance to wrap it up here, though. Cristiano Ronaldo, no mistake. 2 goals for CR7. And the new year begins with an emphatic victory for the champions.
Did anyone have any doubt where that was ending up? Not me. Bentancur does really well. De Paul is robbed again. The ball is played perfectly to Cristiano Ronaldo, who takes one touch, steadies himself, and uncannily finds that bottom corner yet again. The man is such a good finisher. Either foot, in it goes.
Eyes on the ball at all times. The perfect contact. The perfect end result. Applauded by fellow strikers. Well, in 2020, he reached The milestone of getting 50 league goals in the top leagues of England, Spain and Italy. Seemingly nothing beyond him. It's a piece of every record going. And it's that single-minded determination that makes him the unique professional he is. Dybala here. Chiesa. Here's Artur. Dybala available. 2 for Ronaldo, 3 for Juventus. The points now secure. Dybala. This time the angled ball, looking for Ramsey.
You can see that movement again. Dybala just drops deep. Ramsey again trying to come from midfield into those striking areas.
So it's number 14 for the season for Cristiano Ronaldo in Serie A. Ahead of Romelu Lukaku in the goal-scoring stakes this season. Now Udinese determinedly try to get back into this contest. Forestieri's made a good angle. Zegala is there as well, and off the bar again. Lasagna thumped back at Juve. It rebounds to De Paul. And then Bonucci bravely stoops to head away. Twice they've hit the woodwork.
At some point, you have to think that it's not going to be your night. And I think this is the point. Zegala, his left foot hasn't been working very well, but his right foot wasn't bad at all. But the bar kept it out. Really good play initially. Forestieri just gives it out to the left-hand side. Great composure to cut back inside, but he tries to lift it over WtchMNw. Does everything right, but slightly too high. Bonucci goes to the ground. Udinese don't get their goal.
Aaron Ramsey didn't get his goal, and he's off. So too Chiesa, Bernardeschi, Kulusevski coming on for near enough 20 minutes. But a smile, a pat on the back from the coach. Pereira and Lasagna replaced by Mandragora and Nestorovski, who each have a connection with Juve. Nestorovski scoring against Juve in July, and Mandragora officially on loan. Chiesa had been booked, of course, another consideration.
We see Paulo Dybala just getting all over Samir. Still the work rate is high, determination is still there. 15 minutes plus to go.
Changes are plenty here. There's a lapse in concentration from Bentancur. So now they've got Nestorovski and Forestieri. Molina playing down the right. Here's De Paul. Two are losing out. Nestorovski at the heart of it. De Paul now. To Bonifazi. Molina. Everything through Udinese's number 10, Zegala. Samir whips in a dangerous-looking cross with Molina attacking it.
Great communication. WtchMNw to Bonucci. Bonucci was just about to stick a leg out and get a touch. He just pulled out at the right time.
Nedved is staying put today, having been utterly frustrated with the Fiorentina match. Strange one. Kulusevski in a bit of a cul-de-sac over there via Wallace. To Dybala, Alexandro, Bernardeschi here, providing the threat down the left now. Kulusevski hurriedly getting himself into the right sort of areas. Well, to their credit, Udinese have always tried to play their way out of dangerous situations. Here's an occasion where it could backfire. Artur. Kulusevski. Such a great prospect for 2021, surely one of the top players to look out for this year. Bernardeschi trying to wriggle free. Bonucci.
And still Juventus press. Udinese can't keep hold of the ball. Plenty of bodies in the way, centrally trying to stop Juventus coming forward.
Ronaldo, Dybala. It's about a year since Cristiano Ronaldo scored a Serie A hat-trick against Cagliari. He's yet to get one so far this season, but he's had plenty of doubles, plenty of braces, as we often call them. Forestieri, Wallace. Kulusevski chasing it down. Forestieri. Again, De Paul is the fulcrum of the team. Stria Larsen. Molina on the outside here. De Paul switching it the other way to Samir. Zegala and Dragara making himself available. Busy midweek round of matches to come this week. Nothing wrong in Bernardeschi's tackle. Again, the referee was very well placed to see that one. Bentancur, runners left and right. More white shirts than blue at times, it seems. Dybala. At times it's dropping to training ground exercises, perhaps. Juve comfortably in command.
Complete control, aren't they? Just knocking the ball around at will. And when they lose it, chasing back. Plenty of vigour as well. There's a foul from Kulusevski. I'm not sure I've seen the Juventus team on the front foot as much. They really have got some challenges in. Some good, some not so good.
Yeah, point to prove, perhaps. Kengo coming on for Wallace. Kengo, a player who they brought in from Nice in October. Giorgio Chiellini coming back for his first Serie A action for over 3 months. Dybala here for Ronaldo. Wasn't aware of Molina. Molina on the outside of De Paul. A well-measured cross. And Danilo does well to improvise and hoist it to not just safety, but apparently a Juve attack in the shape of Kulusevski. Dybala. Shadowed by Bonifazi, who's gone into the central of the 3 centre-back system. Middle of the defenders now. So Frabotta and Chiellini coming on. Leo Bonucci, an imperious first half clearance. And Juve on course to keep a clean sheet. The 2 veterans not only exchanging an embrace, but also the captain's armband.
He's played well, Bonucci. And now he's been given a few minutes rest at least, with plenty of games coming up thick and fast.
Well, this match today all about getting the job done. With a view to the showdown in midweek against Milan. Inter away to Sampdoria on Wednesday. And Juve some wonderful matches to look forward to this week. Frabotta. Here's Nestorovski. Forestieri. Now Ronaldo. Stringer Larsen tight to Bernardeschi. And this match following its seemingly inevitable course. Kulusevski. Well, all the changes have been made now. 5 for each team. Andrea Pirlo keeps giving some useful experience to some of the youngsters from the under-23 team, especially including them in the matchday squad to help them be acclimatised and accommodated.
And of course, when you are 2 or 3-0 up as well, it's quite a nice time to bring 1 or 2 on. Rest a few of your senior players as well.
Pardo, a midfielder. Fagioli Another to be included in their matchday squad today, along with the likes of De Gracke, Portanova. Almost like a gradual induction for the youngsters in the way that the senior team likes to do their business. Paulo Dybala being given a full match here.
He's played well, been at the heart of everything. That's been good from Juventus. It's been left, right, central, all over the place. So you can see that Pirlo allowing him to roam, the fluidity that he's asking his players to try and get into their game. It certainly worked tonight, at least.
Yeah, I think for me, just watching this, the attitude, the work rate have been so impressive from Juve today. Clearly want to atone for the, well, what for them was the monstrosity of the Fiorentina defeat, coupled that day with the 3-0 reverse, with the Napoli appeal won, which means they must replay that fixture that was originally scheduled for the start of October. Juve away to Milan on Wednesday, home to Sassuolo on Sunday. And here's Dybala, time to set himself, but hasn't had his shooting boots today.
Tries to cut across it after a good run from Danilo. Sets him up nicely. He gets it slightly wrong and pulls it 2-3 yards wide, but he has played well.
Not quite as ruthless as he would wish to be, but again, his contribution has been there. Dragoreira and Makengo about to go on, but can't find the pass to Nestorovski. Slightly further covered by Juve to Udinese, reflecting the work rate we were mentioning. Artur. Bentancur. It's about playing out the last few minutes here without doing any damage to the goals away column. Udinese, by contrast, how they'd love to get a goal here and give themselves something to build on when they go to Bologna on Wednesday. Home to Napoli next Sunday. Giorgio Chiellini, his last Serie A action coming on the 27th of September at Roma. His only Serie A action here was the week before against Sampdoria. Dybala. Still going strong at 36.
He is, and I think when you do get to that sort of age and have an injury, it takes that much longer to recover from, so you want to try and keep going and not stop. But Chiellini, just such a great appetite he's got for defending. Love watching him play.
Yeah, if the athleticism starts to wane at all, it's almost more than compensated by the experience and the ability to read the game. Tough to find a player with both. Here's Molina. He's done well to pick his man out, and Zegala tucks it in. Udinese have their consolation, and the man who was deprived by the frame of the goal earlier, Zegala, gets his goal for Udinese today.
Good play from Molina on this right-hand side. Excellent ball in. Nestorovski is the one that goes for it. WtchMNw has to at least attempt to stop, but when it runs free, Zegala, he's on the move. Danilo is absolutely rooted to the ground. Scuffs it in, doesn't matter. Udinese get their consolation goal.
You can rather tell by the somewhat lackadaisical celebration that he has a sense of frustration as to the way that the events of the day have gone, even if he's got his own personal goal. Goal disallowed early on. Twice they've hit the frame. But, 6 efforts they've had from 9 that have been on target. First Serie A goal for Zegala. Again, go in a bit of a tight spot. 90 seconds or so to be played. Marvin Zegala getting the Udinese consolation here, and they're looking for a second. And it was nearly a fabulous one into the corner.
Well, all of a sudden, Udinese have come alive, just didn't quite bend back enough. Thierry with an excellent effort. Chesney was worried, so was Pirlo.
Suddenly that 3-goal lead looking way more vulnerable. Dybala up against Bonifazi. Runners inside include Kulusevski. Cristiano Ronaldo's there as well. Here's Bentancur slowing it down. Chiellini to Frabotta. Artur. And Dybala's played through here. They won't get to him. They won't get to him. And Juve have their 4th. Paulo Dybala, given his chance in the absence of the injured Alvaro Morata today, comes up with a goal to round off an impressive victory in their opening match of the new year.
Well, he caps a really good performance, Dybala, with a goal. Deserved it. Samir, Zegala, the gap between them was ridiculously big, and that allowed Dybala just to stroll through. Finishes really well, lifts it high with the keeper. Absolutely no chance. The Argentinian gets a deserved goal.
Well, Paulo Dybala gets his goal today. Cristiano Ronaldo, the headliner earlier. An embrace between the 2 front men for the Bianconeri today, and applauded by their teammates and colleagues. Kicking out the old year, lifting off the new year, revitalised, resplendent and regal. Juventus 4, Udinese 1.